Is that how it goes, RJ?
I before we get into that, how come I got to play wide receiver? Why not quarterback?
Yeah.
I got a better arm than anybody else at the station.
Wait a minute.
Well, Paul Smith is only the second all-time leading passer in the University of Tulsa
Well,
history.
wait, I was asking this, RJ.
Yeah.
Did you guys talk about RJ being receiver on the air? Because we were talking about that off the air.
No, yesterday, yeah.
But RJ,
RJ, look, we kind of gave the job to Paul Smith. At least.
Let Paul play wide receiver. He's the best athlete, right?
I don't know about that.
I got you pegged as a Darren Sproles type guy. You know,
That's what I
do a lot
said.
of different things: athletic, fast, small.
Yeah. I'll say this. I listened to the Young and Drum podcast, and I heard you talking about how small wide receivers are the best because they know how to fight. Correct me if I'm wrong. You said big receivers don't want to throw hands. Is that what you said?
Well, what I said was tall folks don't want to throw hands. You never wanted to fight with a short guy, which is why the quarterback should be the short guy. He's the toughest SOB on the field.
Yes.
That's him.
It's not a slight. We just thought Paul Smith is the second all-time leading passer.
You know what? I think that Paul Smith could be a great Julian Edelman for me.
There you go. Where would you put Jerry O on the field?
Halfback. Halfback. You know, Jerry, I'm going to throw him some bubble screens. You know, he's going to do that twinkle toe thing that he does. Austin, I'm same difference, dog. I'm going to have you out there in the slot. We're going to run some quick slants, right? We're going to put you one-on-one. We're going to have you beaten cover 2.
I've torn enough ligaments. I am not changing direction at all. Not at all. You can't get me to change direction. Somebody's like trying to pick up a basketball game. I was like, hell no, I ain't playing that. Okay, RJ, first of all, before we get into the salary deal, I saw a tweet that you had. The Natty Light deal with the college tuition stuff or basically, college debt thing. You're featured. It's fantastic in this commercial. You had mentioned, I never got an answer, and I never saw one. You had mentioned 5 or 6 markets for the Super Bowl it's going to be played in. Which markets are we going to be able to see it? Because you're starring in this. You're going to be starring in a Super Bowl commercial.
Well, in the same tweet, I also said I don't know what 5 markets they are, Austin. So it's there.
The Fargo market, North Dakota. There you go.
Right. Yeah. Well, what I was told was, because it was a representative, and they've been talking to me about this, and it was interesting because I'm at the end of the commercial, right? And I had made a video like I want to do because YouTuber, and they ripped that video off my YouTube channel.
Well, of course they did.
And then we're like, yo, can we get permission to use this? Like, I should charge you an arm and a leg for that. But no, they were very good to me. It's a very cool contest. It means a lot to me. I'm invested in the contest personally because we all know that, $40,000 toward my student loan debt, and we know that going to the University of Tulsa ain't cheap. So that was a big deal to me. But the 5 markets that they said they picked were based on the highest rate of student loan debt in America.
Yeah.
And Tulsa just doesn't fit, man.
Yeah. Well, hey, what are you talking about? Austin has no idea what it costs to go to the university.
Yeah, no, right? Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you trying to say I am not?
You're one of those pampered scholarships.
Yeah, it just cost me 5 surgeries and some bolts and ligaments. But hey, RJ, it's funny because we see you all the time on YouTube.
Yeah.
And during that commercial, you've got some entertaining people doing entertaining things, and the clip with you at the end was more somber. It was more just being, your
raw
emotion, winning the award, all that stuff. And I'm like, they should have put RJ in the middle of this thing with some of his antics. It would have been much better than these guys.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter what video I made that won, but that was the one. No, it's very cool, and I really did like the story that they were telling throughout, and I'm very excited to be able to lord over the rest of you that I'm in a Super Bowl ad.
There you go. You are you're made for big things, buddy. But speaking of being made for big things, the OU, we knew this was coming. The regents had their meetings. They're going to approve the salaries for coaches. The staying salary or the staying bonus for Lincoln Riley, $700,000. It kind of on the surface, it's like you're going to pay this guy to stay. Well, but if you dig down deeper, as OU fans, as people in that university, would you pay $700,000 to have him not go to the NFL? Mm-hmm. Absolutely, no question.
Well, and I think when you look at the way that these salaries are broken up in the school pay and the bonuses, because I think he could stand to earn $750,000 in bonuses each year. they win a national championship and all those things fall into place, like Coach of the Year and other things, other incentives. But I look at stay bonuses as just the price of doing business. Like, you're just going to get that money if you're good at your job. I mean, Mike Stoops had a stay bonus. That's just what they do. I think what really is cool about all of this is I wasn't sure that Joe C. in particular would pony up the way that he did, not just for Lincoln Riley, but for Alex Grinch, because Alex Grinch making 1.4 is not a small thing. And then Lincoln averaging 6.9 is not a small thing. That is a great gesture toward them, but also for fans who want this group to stake around for a while and also want to pay a defensive coordinator what we think he's worth.
Talking with RJ Young, OU Insider, YouTube sensation. Now, when you see that, the first thing I immediately thought when we were talking about it was, you're going to pay a guy $1.4 million. That's the initial pressure kind of builds there. Like we better have some production, and it better get turned around. And I like it. I think Grinch would take it on as a challenge, but at the same time, that it's crazy that's the market. Big time, blue blood, high end programs. If you're going to get a great defensive coordinator, or if your head coach is a DC guy and you're going to get a great offensive coordinator, you're looking at $1 million to $1.5 million. That's what the going rate is now. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, forget the going rate. This is Oklahoma. Before Lincoln Riley brought the air raid back to Oklahoma, defense is what you hang your hat on here. The wishbone is the wishbone, but defense and standing people up and shutting people down used to be part and parcel of being Oklahoma, right? So, like, when you're talking about Bud Wilkinson's 47-game win streak, you're talking about some great defensive teams in there too. So I think that, Alex Grinch wanted the big boy job. With big boy pay comes big boy aspirations. You're expected to put not just a good defense, a decent defense, but one of the best defenses in the country. You're paying for the guy that was at Washington State, the guy that got into the top 25 with a bunch of 3-star recruits at his disposal, the guy that was so innovative that, and this is kind of bugging me, and I don't know what to do with this, Austin, but this is X's and O's stuff. You're going to shift the defensive line basically 3 times. You're going to line them up, you're going to shift them to one side, then you're going to shift them back, and then before the snap of the ball, and then you're going to roll your coverages. All of that stuff, you're being paid to bring that to Oklahoma and make it work in a conference where people put up numbers.
I do think it helps a little bit. 5 years ago, the main question for Alex Grinch at a press conference would be, how are you going to handle, Bryles and Holgerson and Clint Kingsbury, and how are you going to handle these quarterbacks and Patrick Mahomes and all these offenses? I like the fact that the Big 12's changing a little bit. Obviously, Texas Tech, I know Matt Wells well. They're going to run on offense. They're going to be fast paced, but they don't try to score come hell or high water. And obviously, Baylor, Matt Rule, it's a little bit different. It's going to be different in West Virginia. So you're still going to have the high end. Of course, Mike Gundy with his hire, they're going to try to score a lot of points. Lincoln's, of course, going to score a lot of points. But overall, the conference, it doesn't look like a place defensive coordinators go to die anymore. I mean, you can actually come to the conference and say, okay, we can start holding people to 17 to 20 points, and we're not having to deal with Baylor and Texas Tech from 5 years ago.
Well, heck, Todd Orlando came into town, and nothing changed for that dude. He's been having pretty good defenses down there at Texas. I mean, Tech has never been just a defensive juggernaut, so I think that's Matt Wells' uphill battle, because they were averaging 40-plus, I think, out there at Utah State, so they'll put up some points. I think you got a point, though, right, with Matt Rule, with Neil Brown, and with Chris Kleiman up at Kansas State. They're just good, sound football teams that's been their moniker, right? What they do well is play both sides and be balanced. But, again, Alex Grinch is being brought in to get turnovers, to get the ball back, right? That's his thing, right? And where he's going to preach effort, and I think that, okay, whatever. Like kids don't have effort or play with effort. But if you get results, ain't nobody going to care. Nobody's going to care about a 3-4 defense. Nobody's going to care about a 3-3-5. If you're doing what you need to do to win football games and the defense is not embarrassing, yeah, you're going to earn your $1.4 million.
Again, talk with RJ Young. Find him on YouTube. Find him on OUinsider.com. Find him on Twitter as well, at RJ_Young. Yeah, the raises obviously were important, as we said. Bedenbaugh with the good raise. I mean, there's a guy that
he's worth every bit.
That we've been, other people are trying to get. So obviously, locking him up is big too.
Right, $750,000, right, up from $625, makes him the third highest paid offensive line coach in college football. And I would make the I would make the comparison that Bill Bedenbaugh is to Oklahoma what the New England Patriots offensive line is to them. That guy goes away, they go into the tank. That guy comes back, all of a sudden, the offensive line, for which nobody here can name the 5 starters on the New England Patriots offensive line, because we're all looking at Brady and we're looking at Edelman and Gronk and those 2 outstanding running backs. But the same thing could be said for most folks who don't follow OU football closely. You get Bill Bedenbaugh in here, and not just, does he turn Gabe Eichert into an All-American at center, but he's putting out first-round draft picks at the position, which is the thing that I get to hear most from kids that are looking at Oklahoma from the offensive line position. It's like, yes, Oklahoma's good. Oklahoma plays on national TV. They play in the college football playoff. But what they want to know is that Cody Ford can move from guard to right tackle and be talked about as a first-round draft pick after 1 season as a starter. Orlando Brown is out there. Bobby Evans is out there. You had basically an All-American at every position at different levels. First-team All-American, Walter Camp, those sorts of things. And that is what they're drawn to. And I've been of the thought process that is the most important assistant coach underneath Lincoln Riley, defensive coordinator or not. If Bill Bedenbaugh doesn't get you 6.7 yards per rush, you're up a creek, because we saw that against Texas and we saw that against Alabama here recently. But when they can run the ball, they're unbeatable.
RJ Young, OUinsider.com, also the host of Spike, which will make its debut Sunday morning, 10 o'clock, Super Bowl Sunday. Can you share what you have planned for this week?
Yeah, I got this really decent take about how Scott Gleason is kind of like the Alex Grinch of this conference now, in that he's coming from a place that, he did some really cool things at, but it's also Princeton. His come up as a baseball man is very interesting. I also want to get into the Mike Stoops, Alabama, Austin Kendall thing a little bit more, because I think folks just don't have the right optics toward that. And I also want to talk about just what it means to have a scheme and why, it's cool that you can do all this stuff, but if you got 5 or 10 bread and butter plays that everybody knows you can run and they can't stop it, doesn't really matter. We can talk college football all day, all the time, but mostly Super Bowl. We're going to get into that, Super Bowl Sunday.
Excellent. As always, thanks, RJ. We look forward to Sunday morning.
All right, fellas, I appreciate you.